We recently won contracts with the Federal Bureau of Prisons to provide rice. The rice, I think, was $25,000, but I still make a 60% profit. I got in trouble a little bit when I was younger, what the federal prison want. My whole thing was, to turn my situation around. I'm overdrafting my bank account, like whatever it took, I'm able to come back and tell the contracting officer, hey, I'm a former inmate. And I was like, wow, is that easy?
We have Kelvis here, Elvis with a K, who I've been connected to on social media, predominantly on TikTok. And I'm so glad to have you here today because you were a recent GovCon winner. So welcome to the channel.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Dr. Kizzy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so kind, Kelvis. Welcome. So talk to us. How did you find out and get into government contracting?
Well, I grew up near a military base in Columbus, Georgia. I grew up around Fort Benning, Georgia. And the whole while I was a teenager, I worked different odds and ends jobs, not knowing that I was working for government contracts.
Oh.
So it was a lot of people that was from my city that are millionaires, and nobody knew how they got their money. And I asked a couple of them, and they told me, you got to be a government contractor. All the money's on Fort Benning. So as I got older and I got deeper into the logistics, I started to see how things work, how certain companies were able to have consistent clients, how they were able to get money. And then I saw a YouTube video. I won't say that I saw one of your videos first, but I did see one of your videos early on. Kind of gave me a lot of insight. So I jumped out on the limb, went all in, and here we are.
So walk us through it. Talk to us about, first off, the recent win, and then we'll walk back as far as the timeline. So what did you recently win?
So we recently just won contracts with the Federal Bureau of Prisons to provide rice, cake mix, and vanilla extract for third and fourth quarter. We actually have to deliver about 34 tons of rice next week to 2 different facilities.
I know people watching this are like, what? So we all understand that inmates have to eat. We all get that. Right. First off, how did you decide to go from growing up, odds and ends jobs, you heard government contracting is a place, Fort Benning, you do it, you win, to selling what you're selling to bureaus of prison? How did you do that? And where did you get all of this stuff? Like, where are you getting the product?
Well, first off, a little bit about myself. I did graduate from Auburn. I'm a little bit older than people think. I'm actually 46 years old. I've done some things back in the day. I got in trouble a little bit when I was younger. So I kind of understood the prison system because I went to federal prison once about 20 years ago. So I kind of understood the system. I understand how they work. And I know that they always need supplies for their prisons. I understand that they have 34 federal prisons across the United States. And I understand collectively those 34 prisons spend about $50 million with government contractors a year.
Well, I appreciate you sharing this, and keep going.
Again, my whole thing was I wanted to be able, to turn my situation around and do good business that I know that people can understand and respect. Once I found out about the government contracting industry, I decided to use corrections as a niche market in conjunction with logistics because I kind of understand, what they're looking for, what they buy, what they need, the house, the commissary, the kitchen, the staff, medical supplies. So I kind of understood. It made sense to me. So I kind of went that direction.
And so what about as far as where to buy all of this? Because I've come across milk and eggs and pizzas and Gatorade. And the common question is, well, where do you go to buy these? Yes, there's a Sodexo, but where do you go?
Actually, I'm able to go through my relationship contracts. I spent 20 years in the music industry off and on, so I know people everywhere. So I started there. I just called up all my guys in the industry. Hey, you know any brokers? You know any commodities brokers? And before I knew it, I had a whole list of commodities brokers from Brazil to Venezuela to Vietnam to California, all within a week's time.
Well, some may think, Brazil, Vietnam, how would you get anything from there? So talk to us about that. Like, can you order food from other countries?
Absolutely. It helped a lot with my experience in the logistics industry. I understand warehousing as well. I understand intermodal. I also understand how things come into ports. So basically, most things come in through, basically everything comes in through a seaport, whether it's Savannah, Georgia, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, Florida, Houston. Everything has to come in through a seaport from overseas. Once it gets to the seaport, you have your intermodal trucks. They're kind of like the big container trucks. Everything come on containers. They go to the port, they pick up your load, they deliver it to your warehouse or wherever you need it to be shipped.
Do you ever have concerns about the quality, expiration when it comes to that you're dealing in this kind of commodities area?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually kind of nervous about this rice order that I just won, because with things like that, sometimes you get to see things. A lot of the reputable suppliers and distributors, they try to FaceTime you or WhatsApp you when they're in the warehouse and show you their product and show you their operations. They help build a trust factor. And some people just don't have the technology for that. They'll send you some pictures of the loads or whatever. So you just have to go by what they send you in those situations.
Okay.
It's all about relationships and doing your due diligence about the people you're dealing with.
What about experience? When you were bidding with bureaus of prison, did that ever come up where they're like, well, wait a minute, I don't really know. Should we give this to you? Was there any kind of conversation around experience?
The only email, the only conversation I've had with these people are, they called me and said, Mr. Bass, you won the contract. And the second communication, when I called them, when I had a delay on the delivery date, they say it's going to take an extra 2 weeks. They said, fine, okay. They emailed me back with the paper trail, let me know that was okay. And that's it. That's the only correspondence I've had to have.
Wow. And how about on the payment end? Are you paying ahead of time? Is it due to your relationships? You have more flexibility?
Well, it depends on the vendor. For example, for the first contract that I'm doing with these guys with the rice, I have to pay them half up front and half when they deliver. But moving forward, they'll give me a net 6. But since it's our first time doing business, in order to build a relationship, I have to put some skin in the game.
I love that though. That makes sense to have you pay half up front and then to change to net 60, meaning, he has 60 days to pay. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I realized with some vendors, once you show them a contract and they know that you're going to get paid, they will give you a net 30 or let you pay when you receive the payment from your contract.
Ooh, that's nice. I've never had a bureaus of prison contract. We bid on one once for, I think it was a pharmacy tech or something like that. How do they issue payment? How do you invoice bureaus of prison?
Well, I think it works the same as everyone else. I invoice them on a net 30 for anything over $10,000 and anything under $10,000, they'll pay me with a P card.
So for the over 10, do they use IPP? Do you send it through an email? Like $100,000.
It depends. Like I've done contracts with the Department of the Air Force, and they would have me go through, is it IPP? I think it's called?
Pi. Through Pi.
Yeah, Pi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would pay me through Pi, and then other entities would pay me directly through the Department of Treasury through a bank draft.
Okay, well, that's good. And then I like that they use you said under 10, they'll run a purchase card, a government purchase card?
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. And in total, if you're open to sharing, how much have you won and in how many months, years did that take?
So we've been in contracting since 2022. The first contract we won was with Kessler Air Force Base in Biloxi. It was a transportation contract to provide shuttle services for the airmen coming back and forth from Christmas vacation. So we had to pick them up from the military base and transport them to the airport in New Orleans. And then when they returned after New Year's, we had to take them back to the military base.
Okay.
That contract, we ended up getting like $105,000 for that. And I think the most we had to spend up front was $10,000 for a deposit on the buses. And then the bus company worked in that 30 out with us on the back.
So that's amazing. So your first one in 2022 was $105,000.
And I literally won it the first week I got approved in Sam's. Literally. I don't even think it was a week. It might have been my third day with my cage cover.
But as you said, you have this history with logistics, transportation, like you're extremely resourceful. So it makes sense.
Well, the reason we won that contract is because I literally, as soon as I saw the contract, I called the contracting specialist, introduced myself, sent him my capability statement. He called me back the next day, said, hey man, y'all got the contract. It was that easy, one phone call. Because what a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of contracts that don't go fulfilled because people don't even attempt to bid on them, or I guess they're scared to start the first step. So we've been very successful with that, just with following up. Like I have a list of at this point I have over 200 contracting officers, and I email them, I send them a text, whatever, ask them how their weekend was. I just try to stay in the loop with them so they'll remember me when they have stuff that come up.
Oh, I love that. And for this one, some may think or say, I don't have the $10,000 to put down. How were you able to get the $10,000?
Well, I was able to find contract funding in one situation. I did hard money loans. I borrowed money from friends and family. I've overdrafted my bank account, like whatever it took in order to finance the contract.
And that's the life of an entrepreneur, is we make it work.
Absolutely.
Like there's never like, well, I don't know. We make it work. We always make it work.
Absolutely. It has been a wonderful experience. I'm meeting new people every day. And the biggest thing for me is, like, for example, I found a subcontractor at Home Depot yesterday. I went to go purchase, I think, a garden hose so I could wash my car. And I saw a guy with a truck that said pay me. I said, hey, guy, you got a card? He gave me his card. He said, I told him what I do. He said, look, I'm desperate for it. He said, if you win the contracts, I can finance them, pay me, when you get paid, and we can work like that. And I was like, wow, is that easy?
It truly is that easy. I mean, you're providing all these items to bureaus of prison. I mean, it's like super, super easy, and it's got to be a full circle moment for you too, because
it actually is.
So talk to us about that.
Well, I mean, the little time that I was in the system, I learned a lot, because people that go to state prison, they learn some things, but when you go to federal prison, it's just like a crime college, more so business crime college. So I was able to meet a lot of people and understand more so how business works. And then when I'm able to come back and tell the contracting officer, hey, I'm a former inmate, to turn my life around, he put me on a priority list. So every morning when I wake up, I always get emails from the Department of Prison asking, for me to send in a quote. So for me, it's just an amazing feeling knowing that I can sleep at night, that I can legally make money, that I don't owe anybody. I'm not worried about anything, because I live a solid, calm, peaceful life. And my biggest customer is the federal government. But at one point in time, they had me locked down, incarcerated, and now I'm able to live and tell my story. So it's amazing.
This is amazing for me. It's like giving me chills. I mean, that's one thing I truly love about government contracting is it's open to basically everyone for the most part. There's some exceptions, but that is entrepreneurialism, and which go hand in hand. And it's so beautiful. And like you said, this system better than most. So I love that you're providing all these items there. And I know, like you said, $15 million, there's so many things that they buy. Absolutely.
You would be surprised. They even buy hair weave.
Yeah.
Hair glue, all those things.
I know that they recently had one, they had a sources sought for gender reassignment both ways.
I saw that. I didn't know where to start.
I mean, it's like a hospital clinic that specializes in that, but you want to middleman it. It is. It's true. Just like the other agencies buy interesting things, bureaus of prison, no shortage. I love that about the hair. Have you put in any bids for the hair?
No.
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 You're like, it's going too far.
No, I mean, I understand. I know where they get the hair from and everything. I could even give them their own hair brand, but that's not my lane. You go for the weed.
I find it so. I love the interesting ones. I love the ones that are just so unique, like prop money that was on Unison recently.
I bid on that.
Did you? Okay, keep us posted because you always, which is great, is he's always on TikTok, my TikTok lives. You're always hopping in and out. So I really appreciate it. But keep us posted, because I thought that was crazy that they wanted that prop money.
Yeah, they use it for different things.
Oh.
Because also on the flip side of that, they also have a lot of contracts for the actual FBI as far as their training facilities in Virginia and Maryland. So I think that's actually who it was for the FBI. But yeah, they use it.
So when it came to writing these proposals, did you outsource it? How did you put all of that together? Because it's great that you're in it, you have the contact, you got the pricing, you won out the gate. What about putting together these proposals?
Honestly, I'm a one-man show. I've reached out, I've tried to build teams. People, have excuses, they're not dedicated. So I end up doing like 95% of everything myself, from finding contracts, researching, bidding, making calls, fulfilling, like I do it everything for the most part myself. I do have 2 partners that I work with, 2 female partners. They're great. They're learning. I actually learned, and as I learn, I teach them. So we work pretty well together. And we also have a separate company that's registered for government contracting as well that we started.
That's amazing. I mean, I started out one-person show, so I totally can relate to that. And I love that you've expanded, because then that way you can submit more bids every month.
Absolutely. Just like we're making enough profit on the rice contract that we're actually able to use that profit as a down payment for a 47-acre facility that we just put in the contract. So we're looking to open an e-commerce fulfillment warehouse where that we can fulfill, like we can take product for other vendors and warehouse it and ship it for them. So say you got a contract for 500,000 cases of toilet paper and you get a really good deal on it, but you have nowhere to store it. We'll store it for you and we'll ship it.
Oh, I love that. That's really convenient. And if you're okay with sharing, what is the contract award for the Bureau of Prison items?
The contract award for 34 tons of rice, I bid kind of low, but that was because I knew I could get it really cheap. But the rice for itself for 34 tons, I think was $25,000.
Oh, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. I mean, that's a lot of rice.
But I still got like a 60% profit on that.
Which is phenomenal, because you don't want a $2 million contract and you make nothing.
Right, exactly. And I find out that's the hardest part. We actually won that contract on Unison. But the hardest thing I found out about Unison, I don't know if they're using bots or whatever, but their bids are ridiculously low. Like, I don't see how people are making money, like, for real on Unison. It's a very easy platform to use. I usually use it every morning. I can bid on 10 contracts, like, within an hour on Unison. But the profit margin is kind of light on it. But it's great for people that are just getting started, really don't understand bidding. It's a great tool for that. But once you start making money, I would absolutely suggest getting away from Unison or finding some other platform where you pay by the year instead of a percentage of every contract.
Yeah, I like that.
Because I've given them like $5,000 in fees already.
But they roll them in there, so you're aware of fees for those watching and maybe unaware, you see the fees. You're not taking it out of pocket. It's factored into everything. And so that's why they like us to use the system.
And also it's a net 30 on the fees as well. So if you win a contract, it's not like you have to pay the fees right then. They'll float the fees for you 30 days or 60 days, until you get some money, some cash flow.
And when you win on Unison, how do they typically contact you?
Through email.
Is it the agency or Unison?
It depends. Sometimes the agency will reach out to you directly because they're smart too. The agencies are smart too. They'll reach out to you directly, and then sometimes the agents from Unison will reach out.
Do they ever try to move you off of Unison?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. What they'll do is they'll post, and then, something happens and they have to, they'll cancel the order. And then the next thing I know, I get a phone call.
Oh, then do they use a credit card?
Yes. They'll use a credit card, or it'll still be a net 30.
Yep, I knew.
Because the agencies have to pay too.
Right. So I still appreciate you sharing that, because I knew just from my experience on the GSA schedule, because they'll do something similar. The fees it's a completely different fee structure. But, I want everyone to take away from this is it's about your ability to deliver.
Absolutely.
And so Kelvis is able to deliver, you're reputable, you have this strong past performance. And so it makes it easy for an agency to go direct to you.
Absolutely. And I'm just trying to, like I said, stay in my lane, because people have different things that they like to do in government contracting. On paper, we're a logistics company, but we can also sell supplies as well. So just because you say, hey, this is what we do, their motto is, as long as you do what you say you can do, we got you.
What matters? You got to be able to deliver. That is what matters.
Absolutely.
So what are you bidding on now? And now that you have the 2 team members, what are there? I got the warehouse. I understand that business model. Are there other areas you're looking to go into, or state and local, or you really want to just keep focusing on bureaus of prison?
Actually, I kind of have a knack for the charter bus and shuttle industry. I'm working on trying to secure some shuttle contracts with some international airports to do their shuttle services. They're very lucrative, I have to say that. Those are the, like 1 million plus contracts, 5-year terms, things like that. So just to build our track record, we're grabbing low-hanging fruit, but for a long-term projection, we're trying to secure the bigger contracts as we grow and become more reputable.
No, I love that. I think this is awesome. So what about people who are interested in connecting with you? How should they go about reaching you?
Well, I'm on all social media platforms. You can find me on TikTok at Elvis with a K. I'm also on Instagram at Mr. Industry, MRINDA Streets with the S. I'm on Facebook, Kelvis Bass. That's pretty much it. I don't do the Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a Snapchat.
I call it cheat chat. My ex cheated on me with Snapchat, so I've been against Snapchat.
Okay, well, we staying away from cheat chat. No, we ain't going there. We ain't going on no cheat chat. We ain't going there. So I'm just so grateful for you being here, because this is so inspirational, from the transportation, $105,000 to $25,000 in rice to, all of it is just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing and so God sent. So I am grateful to you for agreeing to do this and for sharing your story.
I absolutely appreciate the opportunity. It's my first ever interview.
Oh, nobody knew. Nobody would know. I know everybody is going to leave this feeling like, oh my gosh, I really can do this. So I appreciate that. And for those of you watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, check out my book, winnerswaybook.com. And don't forget, as always, everything is possible. Until next time.